But I was back on another hillside called the Pigeon Top. And I remember that lonely mountain walk, isolated from my family on that black bitumen strip on a beautiful summer's morning. And I was crying, heart sore. And I didn't know why. Then thoughts of the gun returned. I see myself lifting it out of the bottom of my father's wardrobe. I break it open in the middle and push a bullet into the chamber. Slowly, slowly, I raise it up to my head. Oh, Jesus, no, no, no. Suddenly I hear a sheep bleating close to me. It pulls me out of my reverie. I pull my coat around me tighter and I settle closer underneath the overhead rocky outcrop. But again, these images, they keep pushing through my mind. They drag me back to that past where I feared that blackness of mood. The imprisoner of thoughts, the vanquisher of laughter, the fragmenter of person, the taker of light, and the killer of hope. Now we are back in the room. It was clinically bright, but gloom lived there. We were waiting for whoever would be forced in. An awkward, intense silence was broken only by the moaning of the old woman's cries and the lively baby's irrepressible squeals of delight. There were two nurses in sky blue uniforms going about the room, but they were not part of our colony and they didn't have our experiences. Now one of the nurses sat holding the old woman's leathery hand as her little tormented cries rose to a crescendo and then faded again. She held on to the nurse's wrist with her free hand as her bright blue eyes appeared to search somewhere outside in space for answers to her anguish. Me, I was one of the colony. I was one of the rest of us, waiting for resolution, waiting to see the light of usual mood, usual people. The psychiatric sledgehammer awaits us. Last chance saloon of neuroshock. Another man sat in the corner, 40s. He was bent over in his chair, his eyes staring at the floor. One of his legs jigged incessantly and his long black hair fell down the sides of his face, obscuring his features. The fingers of each hand were locked together in a defensive embrace. His smoking fingers were stained brown with reek. Now, the other nurse, she sat beside the baby's mother, as the mother glanced pitifully at her child. Her eyes were now red-rimmed from crying, her mind a myriad of emotional black holes, pitted deep by the ravages of depression. That same depression that mocked her uselessness and stole her ability to love, comfort and play with her baby. And this hopeless, unseen, emotional prison. Outside the waiting room, the sun energized and blazed under a breathtakingly blue sky. Little robins bobbed along the grass, needing little of life beyond the few helpless grubs. Inside, our little microcosm of depressives awaited the ECT, the shock treatment. Then I hear someone call my name. Standing by the window, I notice another little robin. It has a big, long, wriggling worm trapped in its beak. I stare at the wriggling worm. Suddenly I realize life's winners, life's losers, nature's foibles. Am I the worm? Am I the worm? Back up on Schleif snapped the west wind, still feeding in from the Atlantic, has veered a little to the north, and the bite to it has become a little more searching. I am aware of my surroundings again, and I feel the need to push onwards before the sun begins its downwards trajectory towards the horizon. You know, some people say that it is dangerous to be walking on Slieve Snack without light. Aye. And I say, it is also dangerous to try and live life without light and hope and laughter. Why does it have to be like this? For me, the mood pendulum swings both ways. Too far. The dung heap. Granny and Crockacladdy used to say to me, you know, Vin, there are currants for bread and there are raisins for everything. Is that right, Granny? In many instances in life I found this to be true. But there were other times when it just didn't work out. I need to be part of human beings, my family and my friends. Yet at the same time, I need to be by myself. So, which is it? Social or asocial? This night, I remember. I was alone, it wasn't cold. I don't remember the season. It wasn't important. The moon is full, round and copious, and giving off her full self. I am lying on my back at the heather beside Gorgon's hilltop lakes, away above the little rural village. She is stunning tonight. It's that kind of night when the clouds seem to be in a hurry, fleeting across the dark sky, and intermittently, partially or wholly, blocking out the mystical glow of the lunar light as it bathes the earth. Up here in this place, it's like a secret wonderment. My brain gets lost in the light and dark show. I'm captured, I'm enthralled. As the uncanny light dims, then brightens again. Mood mimicker. Suddenly the mystical glow of the lunar light sweeps across the inky, black and threatening water of the lake, transforming it into a glistening silvery pond surrounded by rough clods of heather and shadows of gloom and darkness. This is what it feels like when the blackness lifts from the brain. Lying there beside the lakes, my usual analogy comes to me. It's precipitated by the distance between the moon and the earth, by gazing so far into space, and by my natural bent for cynicism. I begin to liken our planet as to how someone might see it from far away, very far away. Sometimes I think you couldn't get far away enough. I begin to see it as a big, teeming dung heap. There are billions of little life forms in this dung heap, all amalgamated into nations and peoples of one sort or another, all staking out their own patch, all pussing on gateposts, as it were, furiously and frantically intent on getting the most out of this time frame called life. This dung heap of life is home to lots of activity. Killing, being born, lying, cheating, dying, wasting, starving, gorging, praying, and thinking. Yes, we can think. I can think. I can choose what I want to think. Most of the time. Other times, I am not able. As and when I am low. Tonight, I am able. Sometimes I think that we human beings, we have lost our way in this big piece of revolving rock that we sit on. Sometimes I think that life can be a bit of a bollocks. Other times I think that religion can be a bit of a bollocks. I think that we do because we can do, and we don't because we can't. Too many people are deluded by religion and power. Popes and power brokers, they try and pull us towards them. Me, I will look to the being who gave us this moon for beauty and timelessness. What I see above me is inspiring. This beautiful moon, she spreads her light over Gortin and Ireland and the world. She illuminates the dark out of the night. She lifts the gloom from my soul. She puts a wonder into my eyes. And she gives me my solace. Up here in this lonely place. She even lets me climb off the dung heap for a while. Do you know the low? I would never want to know the low again, if ever I could help it. Humans know the low, the mild side of it. More know the mild side of it than the severe side of it. Those who know the severe side of it, they know that it's not just a disappointment or a setback, a disenchantment or a disaffection or one of the usual vagaries of emotion that is commonplace. I'm going back again to when it was we. See me there, I'm sat at the back of the room, away from the rest. I felt I could not be with them. Although I hear some of them say that he might be huffing. Well, I knew I was worried to begin with, because I heard Mammy say that was the last of the mints in the fridge. I used to see her there when I come home from school, and I would worry about her. She'd be sitting there in the armchair beside the fire with her slippers, her skirt and her cardigan on her. But it was really her face that said it all. The worry lines etched deeply there by her run through life. 9 youngsters, 7 sons, 2 daughters and no washing machine. She didn't have it easy in life. Born onto the hill farm at Crocketcladdy, not far from Plumbridge. Daddy worked hard at the line, damned hard. But you know, people didn't always pay him. Mammy lay there sleeping. She took most of the worry of what went on there in the house, and over the years, worry has its payback time. I would try not to waken her going into the house, but someone else always started her. And the first thing she'd say when she got up would be, I need to get the dinner on for the rest coming in. Always cooking and washing and cleaning and feeding. So I used to sit there at the back of the room thinking about these things. And then later on in the evening, whenever the others come in from work, somebody would shout, come on up to the fire vent. Somehow, I didn't think it was worthy of the heat. I know now that even then, my mood was low. I put too much meaning into what Mammy said about the damn mince, thinking we were short of food when we had plenty. This is how the low deceives you. I would run out to the turf shed at night and take Patch, the dog, with me. I would cry quietly out there. Patch, he just sat there looking at me, ears quizzically twitching on top of the bags of turf. The low colours every thought with negativity. Eyes are cast down in a kind of shamefulness, and you get a feeling that everyone you meet knows you're useless and despises you. Isolation is where you get a type of sanctuary, but even that works against you. You live in an existence coloured with 1,000 shades of grey and blackness, and there are no doors out of here. When negative thoughts get the opportunity to grow and multiply, They become disproportionate and distorted. And when thoughts get very distorted, and I can't break the pattern, I focus back onto the single thought. There is no reason for this. Why am I here? Will I despair? I need out of this blackness. AD, agitated depression. Sitting there in vast despair, with endless thoughts of dying, crying to God for some worldly help, inside the unheard scream and crying. Awake again in the early dawn, consciousness hurting, existence beckoning, loath to say goodbye to sleep's sweet release. I must face life's daily happenings. And now my world, it is a barren place, questioning eyes of my loved ones, vexed, unable to answer them. I have secret notions of killing myself. I didn't ask for this manic depression. Don't you realize what this does to a person's life? Some poor fuckers, some cozy little fuckers, they snuggle up in their own homes thinking the outer ones were spot on. Keep the head cases as far away as possible. You know they're friggin' dangerous, especially when they get a drink or two in them. Madhouses, they were all built outside the towns. Not good for respectability to have them any nearer. You know, it's fucking incredible whenever you think about it. Here we have a world where the maddest bastards on the planet are blowing each other up and killing and maiming hundreds and hundreds of innocent civilians every day that the sun rises, creating absolute mayhem and mocking the Creator above. Whilst at the same time, in different places, some poor critters who speak and behave a little bit differently from the mainstream are shipped into mental hospitals where psychiatrists say it will help them. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the great and the good, the silent majority, they wander around clucking like hens about the mentally ill and how they should be treated. As if they were beings who dropped in from space. The ostrich has its head in the sand and the fucking tail up in the air. There are fucking people that come from our communities. They live in our friggin' houses for prick's sake. Anger is pervasive when I get onto this thread. I know my voice is like the life form in the dung heap. Nobody listens, nobody gives a damn. You're on your friggin' own, so make the most of it or give it up. This thing is genetic, you've got it and that's it. Heart disease can also be genetic, but by Jesus you're treated a whole lot differently. Then the paradoxes start to slip in again. The smarter we become, the more stupid we become. We lose our values, our thinking becomes warped, our communities become twisted, and we believe that to have is everything. Our neighbours are people who live near us, not people who come into our homes and befriend us. Greed is our God. Now we are beginning to be blinded by what we have, what we can get. The want is endless. We never seem to have enough. Our people want more and more. And the cry from across the world is, it's fucking good to be greedy. Meanwhile, in yet other different places, brown, swollen-bellied wains are fired dead into ditches because a couple of pence it would take to feed them. It isn't there. Where is it then? It's up at the top of a regime change warhead on a huge colossus tank manned by ignorant soldiers who don't know their arses from a hole in the ground, ordered by power-hungry, moronic politicians under the guise of nation building, winning hearts and minds, and bringing democracy to the world. What a load of pig shit. Religious delusions. Would it be easier for a rich priest to go through the eye of a needle than for a paedophile to go through the gates of heaven? The riddle convolutes again and coalesces into nonsense. Can you see it like this? Manic depressives, as we are sometimes called, we ask questions of ourselves and others because of our mood swings. These mood swings drive us into places and situations that other people have not been to. Places where we really don't want to be ourselves. So what's the question then? Have some of the religious deluded us? Years ago, the communists ruled with iron fist, the secret police that disappeared and all that. On the green shores of Ireland, the clergy ruled with the black cloth, the collar, the